Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sir Libel1. It's time to do a video about one of my favorite game series. Which game series will I be talking about? I'll be talking about Armored Core. For any of you who do not know what Armored Core is, it's a mech simulator slash third-person action game franchise created by From Software, the same company responsible for the all-famous Dark Souls and Bloodborne. The very first game in the series, which is simply named Armored Core, was released in 1997 for the Sony PlayStation, or simply the PlayStation 1. After that, two other PS1 sequels followed the first one, with these being named Project Phantasma and Master of Arena, which are actually spin-offs of Armored Core 1. The premises of these games is that two major corporations, Chrome and Murakumo, are at conflict with each other. By the way, the games take place in the future. These two corporations are at war against one another, and in between it all, there are a group of mercenaries named Ravens, who pilot these mechs, which are called Armored Cores, or for short, ACs. The Ravens are like the middlemen between the conflicting corporations. They take missions from the corporations in order to get money so they can live. So technically, Ravens are really just pawns for the corporations. Now, what is the gameplay like? Well, the game is broken into missions. These missions usually involve matters such as stopping a rebellion, getting rid of enemies in a certain area, disarming explosives, fighting other ACs, and etc. After you complete a mission, you get paid some amount of money, and parts of your balance is deducted depending on how much ammo you use, damage you've taken, or whether your allies were killed in a mission. You can use this money to buy parts and weapons for your AC. Overall, the games are not very story-centered. It's more about creating an AC that best fits the mission you are going to accept. Throughout the games, you will be making a lot of alterations to your AC pertaining to weapons and parts such as arms and legs and boosters, because the game can be kind of difficult and you have to know what you're doing in this game in order to succeed in it. Another cool thing is that you can change the color of your AC, add emblems to it, and you can battle other ACs in arena mode, which also pays you for winning. Also, when it comes to the AC series, there is a numbered game, and one or more spin-offs follow after it. For example, Armored Core 2, which was released for the PlayStation 2, had one spin-off, which came out a year after. Armored Core 3, also for the PlayStation 2, had 5 spin-offs. Armored Cores 4 and 5 had one spin-off for each game. Now, I've never played Armored Cores 4 and 5. Each generation of Armored Core games have similar stories, but in each generation there are different corporations and settings. The first, second, and third generation Armored Core games were set in a fictional universe, while the fourth and fifth generations were set in the real world, which is our world. Now that I told you everything you need to know about Armored Core, what do I personally think of the series? I think it's one of the best series of video games I ever played. Plus, I am a big fan of mechs. I loved them since I was a child, and I loved them even more when I started playing games such as Metal Gear Solid and Mega Man Legends. Now, those aren't mech simulator games, but they have mechs in them. Armored Core is a series I put a lot of time into because it's fun to play. It's all about fast-paced action and customizing your mech. Also, the games have an excellent soundtrack, which can be described as a mixture of electronic, rock, and orchestral. If you haven't heard any of the music from the series, listen to some of it on YouTube. Now, let's go over the flaws of Armored Core. One flaw in the Armored Core games is that there is not much of a storyline or a plot. You have some dialogue, such as the briefing before each mission, and dialogue in the middle of a fight with another AC. There are very little cutscenes in the games besides the beginning full motion video or the ending full motion video. Now, you can get some pieces of the story by reading the mail that is sent by various people after most of the missions. So, From Software could have definitely expanded on the story in the series. Also, the graphics, especially in the PlayStation 2 games, were kind of bland. The games didn't look bad, but it's nothing to write home about either. The weakest point in the graphics was the environments were kind of low poly. They at the least looked like games you could see on the Sega Dreamcast. Now, I haven't played the 4th or 5th generation of the Armored Core games, which are for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, so I can't really say anything about those games, according to graphics. Now, I've seen videos of the games, but seeing a video of the game and playing it, actually playing the game, are two different things. So I really can't say anything about the graphics in those games. However, with the games I played, especially the PlayStation 2 ones, they could have improved in the graphics department. Overall, I love the series, though they could have did better on some things. Plus, since it's a From Software series, it's not very popular. Now, there are quite a bit of people who know of the series and play it, but the fan base is still not really big. When it comes to other mech simulator series, such as Zone of the Enders and Mech Warrior, the fan bases are larger because those games were more well known. Now, what is the Armored Core series like now? Again, I did not play the 4th or 5th generation games, in which the 5th generation is the last generation. The last Armored Core game, Armored Core 5 Verdict Day, a spin-off of Armored Core 5, was released in 2013, so there hasn't been an Armored Core game for 4 years. Hopefully they make a 6th generation of Armored Core games. Also, it would be awesome if they made like an animated series or a full-length movie based off the franchise. They could even remake some of the games, add a little more story to them, and give it next-gen graphics. Like, for example, Armored Core 3 is my favorite generation of Armored Core games. I would love to see that generation of games remade. So, in conclusion, Armored Core is a series you should definitely check out. I cannot guarantee everyone is going to like it because the games can be difficult, and plus there's not much of a story, so I can't say it's for everyone. But personally, it's one of my favorite game series, and since I'm going to school for video game design, I may one day create a game series inspired by Armored Core. Oh, and by the way, just in case some of you are living under a rock, Square Enix is making a game which is inspired by Armored Core, Metal Gear Solid, and Xenoblade Chronicles X, called Left Alive. I saw the trailer for that game and it looks awesome. I cannot wait to play that game because it looks pretty epic. So, with that, that's it. I'm Sir Libel1, signing off. Have a nice day.